Hello, everybody. How are you doing? Here we are, Friday night. We are making it. We're living week to week, day by day. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm Susan Lynn. I'm a spirit navigator. We're predicting politics. We're chatting about politics tonight. We're supporting each other. We're showing up. It's sort of like we're just, this is homeroom, right? In the classroom where we all show up to say, accounted for, I made it through the week. Thank you so much for joining me. Take really good care of yourselves, everybody. It's wild out there, I want to say. That's the energy of it. So yeah, thanks so much for joining me tonight. We're going to get into it. As I say, I know this is early for the West Coasters, but we get started and then people join us usually in about 30 minutes. We're at almost 1,000 people, but we'll be up to 3,500 here shortly. And I say that because I want to dive right into the juicy things, but I have to repeat myself. So I would rather wait and talk about some of the juicy things when some more of our fellow political chatters are with us. Yeah, happy Friday. How's everybody doing? How's the weather where you are? Yeah. Oh, you made it through this week with COVID. I'm glad you're feeling better. This energy, if you get sick, like God forbid, like look, forget screwworm. Now we've got, whatever that crazy diarrhea from hell, cyclo, whatever it is that's in our lettuce. Um, allegedly, they're tracing it to Taylor Farms. And when I say there, I don't mean the CDC because we don't have one. I mean us. We're citizen reporters now. We're citizen. The media is now us, and we are now helping each other. So be careful if you're eating some of the things that they have found this, whatever this thing is, because it makes you very sick. So my point is, if you do get sick for some reason, take it really seriously. This energy is sort of like 0 to 100. Like if you got the flu, it would go from 0 to 100. If you got a cold or if you got anything COVID, it would be worse than normal. That's just the energy that's happening right now. So if you do get sick, I want you to take it really seriously and do lots of rest and just, go to the doctor, do the things, take it very, very seriously. You broke your foot. Oh no, Lori, I'm sorry to hear that. That's no way, no, for sure. Yeah, 100 degrees, but 102, but you have air conditioning. Well, that's good. Edmonton is gross. Well, that's no good up there, right? We're counting on you guys in the north to hold us down. Yeah, so yeah, glad you're growing your own veggies is great. We have somebody from Maui. We love that. Eat more chocolate. I think one thing that I've proven to myself is that I can eat an just an insane amount of chocolate and live to tell the tale. So, I think that's good. Not bad for me. Um, the drones in Cuba. Let's check it out, Nicole. I have not heard about the drones in Cuba, but I'll certainly just dip into that energy. Uh, I mean, our news is broken. We know that, right? We know that our mainstream media news is just not even usable. Okay. So, I will be talking about Mitch McConnell in just a little bit because there's action on that too. So the drones in Cuba. First of all, we should just talk about Cuba, which is under this sort of shadow attack. The guides want to call it a shadow attack because I think there's countries that are doing things that are not on record. So we see that the grid has been down, the electricity has been down, food has been hard to get to them, medicine has been hard to get to them. They've been cut off from a lot of their resources. I do know that there are some countries that are trying to help them, but I want to say energetically that they're cut off from 70% of their resources. So if you think about your own town or your own little house, what if you couldn't get 70% of the things that you needed? That would be a catastrophe. So now we're talking about drones. Well, I don't know what if there has been reporting or what this is about, but I would say energetically, it feels like these drones are to control the citizens. There's unrest there. as you might imagine, if you can't get 70% of what you normally get, you're getting 30% of your food, 30% of your medicines, 30% of your housing, 30% of your security, 30% of your water. That 30, you're living off 30%. That's not really sustainable. So I feel like people are mounting a revolt, I guess you might call it. So there might be some revolutionary energy happening in pockets. These drones do not feel like they're from the Cuban government, although I think that the citizens think they are, but I don't think. I would say the Cuban government would like to know what their citizens are doing. I think they're worried about a revolt, but I feel like these drones are from an outside source. They're coming from another country, and they're there to report, but also potentially to intimidate. We all know the sound of those drones is really, it's kind of frightening. It's kind of, intimidating. They're not quiet. You can hear them, and I do think that they could be used for nefarious purposes, like to actually harm people. It feels like a takeover, and this. If you've been watching me for a while, we warned everybody about Cuba way before this happened. I really felt horrible for Cubans. I felt that there was famine happening. We talked about this months ago. So this is all playing out just as we saw it, unfortunately. And there's not a lot of hope or help. There's not a lot of help right now. Um, I mean, I could go on, but I'm going to leave it at that. And just, I would just say, say prayers, right? That really does work. If you're worried about your kids and you just worry, 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 it actually becomes like a heavy energy. If you can just say, I'm sending them love and light, I'm sending them hugs, that's a lighter energy. And that's a little bit more helpful. Um, yeah. So we kind of jump around. If you're new here, I'm going to jump around to lots of different topics. So just buckle up because it gets crazy. Regarding you're saying, La Sandina says regarding the food and water shortages, has the timeline changed? No, they're saying the timeline is still active. You will notice the guides are saying you will notice that some small towns are actually reporting they don't have any water. Like you turn on the spigot, there's no water. This is what we were talking about when we said you have to have water because water clarification isn't going to work. There's no water. Okay. It doesn't mean that the whole country is going to be without water, the whole world is going to be without water, but it means that if you are without water, having 5 gallons, which is $5 or $10, right? Depending on what kind, where you live, it could be a big help. Okay. So when I say you don't have water, it could be for a day or it could be for a week. And it could be for all the different reasons. It could be that there was a diversion of the water source that somebody, there was a water rights argument. This is happening right now. It could be that the plant was hacked and it's not working. So the guides are saying this is still on the same timeline. Now let's talk about food. I will say to you, well, right now we're experiencing that weird thing that's happening in our salads and in some berries, and apparently you can't wash it off. It's not guaranteed that if you wash your lettuce or whatever it is, it's not guaranteed that it's going to clean it. And so the guides want to talk about this because they've been talking about this with me for days. And I've talked about it on my channel a lot, but I tend to predict things way far in advance. So here's where we are. Where we are is corporate America is the only entity that is regulating themselves. The government is not regulating them. Nobody is regulating them. And if you take a corporate entity, if you even talk about the stock market, it's against the law for them not to do everything they can to make a profit. So if you have a corporate entity, their shareholders are holding them accountable to make a profit. And they just there's no reason for them that they can see that they should spend money on things like safety or regulations. And what that's going to do is now that we don't have the government making the corporations and now the corporations are not making themselves, now what we're going to have is things like this, where we have this outbreak in our food, with our food being unsafe. And this is where we have food shortages, right? Because at some point, like right now, there are restaurants like Taco Bell taking the lettuce off of their burritos because they don't know where this is coming from because there's no CDC, there's no regulations, there's no tracking of this. So now we're not going to want to eat that food. And then conversely, they're not going to want to serve it to us. So there's going to be food shortages. So when I say food shortages, it happens like that because first of all, we don't even trust the food and we're not buying it. So then it just goes rancid on the shelves. Second of all, it doesn't make it to us because the other thing that's happening is companies like Costco are actually regulating and inspecting their own food. So now Costco might say, well, we're going to just say this brand is not trustworthy. We're just going to stop carrying them, or we're not going to carry lettuce for a week. So you can understand now really how these food shortages can start happening in all different kinds of ways and from different reasons, completely different reasons. And some of that could also be supply chain reasons, right? So the guides are saying this is still present, and I don't think it's going to happen to our whole country or whole world at one time, but it is happening sporadically, and it seems to be gaining more energy. So I think we'll see it more. Um, Let's see, because talking about the stock market, Julie says, will the stock market, which was down a bit today, stable out? Should we be in the stock market now? I mean, I can't give financial advice. I have to just say that out loud. This is not financial advice. This is not meant to replace your financial advisor's advice or your bank's advice or whatever. I would say to you that the stock market is going to go through some things. It's going to go through a really up and down, they want to use the word rambunctious. Um, it okay, here's two different things that I need to they're different, but I need to say them both. Okay, so one is I think there's a real potential for the stock market to level out towards August and the end of the year. Now, that could mean level out at a lower level, right? That I'm just saying maybe it drops and then it kind of finds a place to level out. Okay, so I think there's going to be this up and down, and then it's going to level out. The second thing is that, or there's three things here. The second thing is that I really think it's up to each individual person. Some people are not near retirement, and this is not in the scheme of things. They're still making. They feel like the stocks they're invested in are still paying off. Other people are in retirement and they don't want to be on a roller coaster ride. So it's a good time to talk to lots and lots of different financial advisors and get multiple viewpoints and do what's best for you. I don't I don't see it completely. The word they want to use is evaporating this year. However, the third thing I want to say is that the guides have been saying for a long time that the money is gone, that they will not back down from this. They're like, the money is gone, Susan. It's gone from your coffers. It's gone from the treasury. Um, we do not know this yet. And when that happens, there's I do think that there will be restraints on the stock market. For instance, you might see the stock market after actually stop trading for 2 or 3 days. They may close banks for 2 or 3 days. This is in the future. I feel like this might happen next year because how I think this is going to play out is they're going to get control of this, and the word they want to use is stymie. They want to just stop everything. Okay. They want what the guides have said for the longest time is put the patient in a medically induced coma, right? So they just want us to just be in a timeout. We're not going back, we're not going forward, we're just going to be stuck for a bit. And they're doing that so that they and also we can get the lay of the land. We can take inventory, we can see what's happening, we can see what's happened. Next year is when we have to understand how are we going to fix this. And next year is where I think we could have some real hardships or some real situations where we have to just find a way through this, and we have to own it. We so right now it's inflated, it's a bubble, it's not real. None of this is real, right? But next year we're going to know what's real and what's not real, and then we're going to have to figure out how do we get through this, right? What measures will we put in place? That's kind of how I see it happening. Diane Good says Russia is revolting against Putin, which is great. That's one of the things that I saw would happen at the end of the war with Ukraine. I said the people will rise up, and so that I feel like McConnell going out. I said this last Friday. The energy suggests that there's this vortex, right? Like the cosmic drain is opened, and all the low energy people are going to start swirling the drain and going down. Um, Maybe not all of them, but a lot of them. So I think that these energies that are shifting and changing are going to bring Putin down, and it's going to bring Russia to their knees. And it's also because I think I talked about this last Friday too, because or maybe I talked about this on Threads, but it's not they need a world war, because this would solve all their problems, because then some countries could actually join them. They can't right now, but they could. And so that's why they keep pushing this narrative of maybe we'll bomb Poland, or maybe we'll do this, or maybe we'll do that. But the bottom line is that when I said that, the next thing they showed me was OPEC and the Arab states. And the Arab states have had enough of this. They've had enough of the Hormuz situation. They've had enough of Iran. They've had enough of the United States. They've had enough. They've had enough. And for some reason, I just saw Canada, and I don't know if Canada has upped its oil sands, or don't they have some kind of sands that they get oil from? I don't know if Canada has made some public statement or if this is energy I'm reading, but the thing is that the OPEC, the Arabic states are like, we're starting to lose traction. We're starting to lose our hold on this situation. And that means countries like China and India and South America, the continent, they're starting to be bigger players. They're starting to say, well, hey, maybe we can sell you some oil. So this is starting to cause big problems with these other countries. And that's where you're going to see pressure put. Yeah, so hey, how's everybody doing? Um Jars of pickles. Right, right. Tracy says you remember Ukrainian women throwing jars of pickles at drones. Yeah, and think about that, because those pickles are like food. That they're not pickles you get off the shelf. These are pickles they pickled, and they don't get a lot of food. So for them to actually throw food at that's kind of a big deal. Okay, we'll talk about McConnell in just a second. Yeah, I'm also going to talk about Nolan Wells as well. Back to the drones in Cuba. I can't really go in too deep into it, but I would have said if I could, um, because I have to think about my safety too. Um, they're just from other countries. Black, what is that? BlackRock? What is that black company? Like that kind of mercenary? It feels like a mercenary company. That way there's no US flag on the drone. There's no Israel, China, whoever flag on the drone. It's a mercenary. But it's a contractor. So one of those countries is paying for it because they wouldn't be doing it for free, right? Um, Jeb Bush, Jeb Bush is here from God knows where, right? So he says the drones are from Iran. I don't know that I believe that. That's just me. I don't Iran's got their hands full, man. Like they're gonna be like, oh yeah, let's send some drones down to Cuba. Yeah. No, they got their hands full right outside their door. So I don't think they're from Cuba. I think that was a red herring. And I don't know why we would really trust Jeb Bush, but where's he even been? God. They just drag these people out, Hey, get off golf course. Get on CNN. Well, I haven't been on in 5 years. It's okay. We'll put your name under your picture. They'll know who you are. Give me a break, for reals. Um, let's see. Essay Beautiful Soul says, do I see a government shutdown in October? There really could be. There is energy around a government shutdown in October. There is. I'm getting what they just gave it to me and it just went out the window. What is that when you have another way to say it is a game of chicken? You know what I mean? Like who's gonna blink? Who's gonna do the thing first? But there is energy around it. But October's far away. We've got a lot to do before October. A lot to do before October. I want to talk about Mitch McConnell. I want to talk about Jeffries. I want to talk about a lot of things that are going to happen way before October. Um, and those things are more present. They're happening now, but there is energy there. I mean, when I go in there. So yeah. Let's see, what does this say here? Lori says, can you read on Minnesota Rep Tom Emmer? Will he win re-election this fall? I feel like no. I don't know who he is. I don't know if he's a D or an R. I don't know if he's what he is. So I don't know. But I'm trying to say yes and they say no. I say yes, they say no. So again, that's really far off and things can change. If he stays on the track he's on now, no. The answer is no. If he does some things or somebody else does something stupid, then possibly yes. But I mean, if you're going to ask me this far in advance, I would say right now it doesn't look good for him. I don't know who he is, but that's what they're saying. Let's see what else is happening here. Jeb Bush is still alive. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, what? Like who is Jeb Bush these days? He's been gone forever. Yeah, if you're joining me, thank you so much. Hit the thumbs up. If you're not a subscriber, I'd really appreciate that. My subscribers dropped, so I think it's funny, and I don't know why I think it's funny. But my subscribers have dropped off a cliff. I might be in negative territory right now, and I've never been in negative territory. So if you haven't subscribed, you might do me a favor and subscribe. Oh my God, it's funny. Anyway, all right, let's keep moving. What are you even talking about? Brock says stop making chocolate covered peanuts. Oh no, people cannot mess with my chocolate. They already mess with my chocolate, but now we're going to have a problem. Okay. Let's see. DS 3040, is the CERN shutdown making any changes in people and politics? Yes. It probably needs its own video. So isn't CERN a super collider or some physics kind of thing? And they're shutting it down for some kind of maintenance, but I think it's going to be shut down for years, like not overnight, like years. So your question is about changes in people and politics. It does, and I don't know why, but it really does. It creates an opening an opening in the science, because now the money, the thinking, the people that were doing research using CERN are going to be doing research using something else. It's shifting people's priorities. Um, and then that shifts politics, because if CERN was in this country and now it's not operating, maybe in 2 years, China can have a CERN, right? I mean, it's going to change the power structure. It's so much bigger than just we took it offline to do maintenance. It's a really big deal. And then also, there's energy around it from a spiritual or energetic standpoint, as well, because it was doing something that created ripples in our energy. The guides are saying the same things happen with a nuclear reactor and nuclear fusion. I know they're not the same thing. I'm just saying that the guides just said when we have nuclear reactors and nuclear fusion, it creates an energy, not a bomb. I'm just talking about making nuclear energy. It makes a ripple through our universe. And CERN was making a ripple through our universe. So if it's not doing that, that changes things. Hopefully that answers your question. If you have like a more specific question, I'm happy to go into it. And thank you to all my moderators, Connie, who is that? Secondhand News with TJ, thank you so much. And Deb and all the moderators, whoever is here, I really appreciate you. Let's see what else is happening here. Why did Elaine? Okay, here's another question. Why did Elaine from Clio Travels? Why did Elaine Chow go to China? Was it a handshake and an assignment completed gesture? So it's also very interesting the timing that she went to China, because she went to China either right before he, had his incident or right after. I can't remember if it's 3 days before or 3 days. I think it's 3 days before, but we also don't know exactly. Yeah, we do know because there's an EMS recorded call. So why did she go to China? When I go into the energy, they're talking about a power handoff. Look, I think Mitch is dead. Okay, we're going to talk about that in a minute, but I think he's dead. He's dead. So I think there were things, how when you have a will that says upon death, this happens? This is what she has. She has something that upon his death can be transferred or given or known. It could be information that is shared once he is dead. Do I want to talk to him? I don't know if I want to talk to him, y'all, because he's here, but I don't like that man. I don't, you know what I mean? Like he's like that creepy old man that gets too close and breathes on you, and you're like, get the hell away from me. For real. This is why I don't like mediumship. Why are dead people so damn pushy? Damn. Pushy, and he's gross. You're gross, Mitch. I'm telling you. I'll just tell you like it is. So you need to go over there if you want to talk to me. I mean, like way over there. I need to call my bouncers. Okay. Anyway, holy Jesus, why did I choose this job? Okay. What? I don't want to know. I don't think I want to know what he has to say, because I don't trust what he has to say. So I think I'd rather just read the energy. But because I go into her, I can see her handing something. She's got a very serious face. There's a sense of something being completed. Death is a big completion. And it's a power transfer. That's what I can tell you. It's a power. Somebody's getting power. Information is power. If you know the backstory or some dirt on somebody, now you're very powerful. And she took that information and gave it to someone in that country. Whether that person was Chinese, I don't know, but she gave it to someone high level, like ambassador or higher level person. So yeah. Yep. let's talk. And also, it's true too, right? NJ says if she's there, she can't pull the plug. If she's there, she's separated from the whatever happened. You know, from the cause of death. The guides are saying she's separated from the cause of death, so you can put two and two together, right? There. Um, yeah. He has caused so much harm over a lifetime. Truly, more than even Reagan, and Reagan was terrible, but Mitch was there for decades, just, changing our laws and changing our country in ways that we just can't go back. Um, let's see. So, what happens to him? No services. Where's his body? Susan, try and talk to him. Look, he may not be trustworthy. Look, just because they're dead, that doesn't mean they're trustworthy. This is like talking to the devil. I do want to say that two things happened. CNN, and again, when this happens, I want you to not just take the bait. I want you to say, why is CNN doing this? Why is Mitt Romney on, why is this happening? Don't just listen to what they're saying. Ask why. Why is this happening? So CNN had a video, which means that they bought this video from a citizen. I mean, or maybe they were called up and said, get somebody to film this. But so now a video has been publicly shown that shows, allegedly, CNN is saying it's him, Mitch McConnell being taken out of his place in DC and put in a ambulance. Now, you can't see a lot, but you can see more than you can see. And apparently, when you give somebody shock treatments, like to restart their heart, they're put in a different body suit bag cover because they might still have electricity. So they're putting like a rubber thing, and it's got a color because, as a medical person, you need to be able to know what's happening. You see the color, you know what's going on, right? Well, so he wasn't wearing, his body didn't have that, which means that if they did give him that thing, it didn't work. He didn't. So they're just saying that. Also, the paramedics were like, whoop, they weren't like, Hail Mary, get this guy in the damn thing and let's go. Everybody was like, all right, let's just put him. Okay. Now, if he was dead when they took him out, they probably would have put him over a hole. They would have zipped him up. But I don't think they would do that because it was public. So they need to pretend that this person is alive. Number one, there's video out you can see. Number two, there's a video. My guides say it's real, but I think the way they're saying that it's real means to me that something is not real about it, or I don't know. I don't know why. It's almost like a challenge. Like, anyway, the second video is Lexington, Kentucky. Mitch lived in Louisville, Kentucky, and Louisville's like what, 3 hours away from Lexington. A cargo plane, somebody videoed it from the inside of the airport. A cargo military plane was parked, and a blacked out ambulance showed up and put somebody on it. Now, why would you black out an ambulance? Well, guess what? You can Google that. And it turns out that blacked out ambulances, meaning the ambulance is black, that's high level officials. Those are high level officials that use that kind of ambulance. I mean, this is actually, you can research this. The next thing is that there's somebody on Threads. I shared this with my members, by the way. If you want to hang out with me, I have a membership, online membership. You can scan that code right there with your phone. It goes to Susan Lynn Medium. You can join us. I'm with you 6 hours a week, helping you, literally helping you, giving you readings. Anybody that's a member can tell you about it in the chat. But so number 3 is there was a car outside of Mitch's house. Now, DC is like those brownstones that are all connected together, right? So it's a very compact neighborhood, and there's cars all along the street. So people live there, okay? Like in DC, you're used to seeing people because you live in DC. Well, there's a car that was parked there that had a very special placard in the back of the car that denoted that it was a high level house member. You know what I mean? It's like having a parking tag on your rearview mirror. They got a big sign in the back that says H117, whatever it is. So this woman is like, "Hey, who's here? This is Mitch's house. Who's here?" This was before the ambulance video was released. And she was saying she thought it was Jeffrey's. Now, it doesn't there's some things that don't make sense because there's 3 college stickers on the car, and Jeffrey's only went to one of those colleges, but it could mean that it's other family members. I'm just saying the plot thickens. Mitch is out. Was Jeffrey's or another high level, really high level congressional person or their aide at Mitch's making some deals? You know, lots are going on. Lots are going on right now. And I think that's all because Mitch is out. Um, you're right, Libby. It could be anybody in that stretcher, but the thing is, CNN said it was Mitch. Why would CNN say it's Mitch? Why? What's in it for them? This is what I'm saying. I want everybody to start asking these questions because is CNN starting to say, "Hey, Mitch is gone and we've got our own dog in this race that we want to get behind." There's a reason for these things to happen. CNN would bury something until hell froze over and never show it to you. If they're doing it and they're saying it's Mitch, then they've got an angle that they're trying to get us to believe. Why are they doing it? Right? That's the question. Why? So it's a fascinating time. Um, So you're saying a neighbor watched Mitch go in the ambulance, okay? There were people out. I mean, this is a neighborhood. It's a very compact place. You know, a lot of people and cars and things. So I wouldn't be surprised, right? I wouldn't be surprised. Now that Mitch is further away from me, he got way too close to me. That is not allowed. I mean, I can ask him because I think he was a drinker. I didn't really know this about Mitch, but I think he was what is a teetotaler? Is that somebody who drinks or stopped drinking? I don't know. They're calling me a teetotaler. Calling him a teetotaler. So, um, well, here's the question, right? Barbara says, how long can they keep this a secret? And when I read on this last time, what I saw was that a medical person would say, I'm not keeping this a secret. Like, I'm not going to wreck or risk my medical license covering something up. This man is dead. We cannot pretend that he's not. So that's why I think he was transferred to Lexington. That's why I think, because if you the hospital is going to say, get him out of here because we're not going to play this game because the doctors and the nurses, there's too many people to try to keep quiet. Okay. And this isn't the president. Okay. The president's a whole different thing. So I think they got him out of there and they got him to Lexington where they could try to keep him in a more private, a seriously locked down situation where they can pretend that he's alive. Um, so it'll be interesting if CNN is saying, this happened, and then all of a sudden, did you see that people were saying, "Oh, I talked to Mitch for 20 minutes today." It was all over social media. People, everybody was saying, "I talked to Mitch too for 20 minutes, and we talked about," because they were making fun of them because so many people were chiming up, going, "I talked to Mitch," and we all know that's lies, right? So I don't it doesn't matter. The guides are saying this guy shared the best breakdown of the whole situation with Mitch and how Congress is going to have to deal with it. It really doesn't matter because Andy Bashir, the governor, has said, I'm sending a strongly worded letter that says we need to have proof of life. But this guy broke it down from a historical perspective. And this has happened before. And because of HIPAA laws, we don't have the right to know. We don't have the right to know. So he said there's been other senators that have died and we haven't known. And so we don't, we're finding out so many things about our laws and the Constitution that we think is common sense, but it turns out it may be common sense, but it's not a law. So I think that I think that to me, this is going to come to a head faster. It's not going to be just sitting there. It will mean that Kentucky won't have a senator and it will be a Republican senator, right? So they're down one vote. That's not hurting us particularly right now. But I do think that it's going to be resolved. But I don't see it being resolved this week or even this month, honestly. Um, Weekend at Barry's, that's hilarious instead of Bernie's. That's funny. Barry is the blood clot, if anybody wants to know. Elvis talked to Mitch too. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like everybody has talked to Mitch, right? Your 3-year-old nephew talked to Mitch, you know. It's all good. He's fine. No problems here. Um, yeah, they do have the right for representation, but this guy broke it down and it's we have the right for representation, but we don't have we because of HIPAA laws, privacy laws, that trumps it. We can't force him to tell us what his health is. We need laws. We need better laws that say, hey, if a president does, I mean, it's just a tradition that if the president has some kind of procedure that the vice president takes over, they've broken every single one of these traditions and so-called laws, right? So that's what I'm getting. I think he's dead. But the thing that matters more to me, from my perspective, is the energy. Something as evil as Mitch McConnell is off the face of the planet. That is cause for celebration. That's going to open a whole lot of room for light to shine. And that means that these other bad actors are likely going to start losing power. And and the guides just reminded me that E. Jean Carroll got another one of her wins. The judge said, you've got to pay this woman. So I'm not saying it's all wins, but I'm saying we are starting to get some wins. We really are. And that's important to hang on to. Mitch doesn't drink. And you think he doesn't drink, huh? Was that Mitch you were talking about? Teetotaler means he doesn't drink. Oh, okay, got it. Yeah, I think that's correct. I think he did not drink. Well, that's a whole different story. If somebody cast a vote in somebody's name that isn't there to vote, and I think that has actually happened. Um, the guy said it was a joke, but I think it has actually happened. I mean, that's got to be illegal. But what DOJ is going to stand up to that? We don't have a mechanism right now for even the parliamentarian of the House, who's like the law of the House, is not doing anything. So, yeah, what's going to happen is all these transgressions, these illegal activities are being recorded, and then when we get on the other side of this, those people will be held accountable. They will be held accountable. There will be a tribunal. There will be trials. It might take a little while to get there, but it is going to happen. So even though this is frustrating right now, it's not like they've won. It just means that their sentence has been deferred, is what the guides just said. which I know we say delayed justice is no justice. I know that. I get it. Um, right. So this is a good question, a good statement. Purple Algeria says HIPAA protections are protected only for patients, hospital employees, and other medical personnel, not regular people. So non-medical personnel could leak the info and photos. 20-year plus hospital worker here. Um, that's why this is what I'm telling you. That's why they took him out of there because somebody was going to leak this. Somebody was going to leak this, and they didn't have, there was too many people, like you're saying, the janitor comes in, the person comes in to fix a machine, um, somebody's visiting their friend and walks into the wrong room, I mean, it's anything could have happened, and they needed to lock it down. Yeah, this is concerning. We can talk about this. Karen Lee says the felon just fired the entire Federal Election Commission. What will happen? The Supreme Court ruled in favor of this. Um, it is not good. I will tell you, this is not a good thing. But I would also say that these things that the feds are doing are causing, and we know this, we see this, right? What the feds are doing is causing the states to get in their battle stations because the states run the elections. The states run the elections. So yes, red states might be happy with that. They're like, yes, yes, let's go. But blue states are going to, and sort of more independent states are going to be like, nope, we're going to sue you. We're going to do everything we can to take our power. So really what this is doing over and over again is the states are having to stand up to the federal government. And it's creating stronger states, which is interesting because that's what the Republicans said they wanted all along, states' rights. Well, now they're going to get them, except for it's going to be California, Washington, Oregon. It's going to be, you know, these blue states that are going to be like, yeah, we're going to have our states' rights. We're going to make sure that this goes down in a more justice or a more safe way for the voters. But it's horrible. Look, you guys, this is what I keep saying, like next year we're going to have to be taking stock what's left of our government. I mean, this is not me being a joke. This is true. The election is gone. FDC is gone. Our regulations are gone. Everything is gone. So in a way, we get to rebuild our entire government from the ground up. And think about that. Nobody since the inception of this country, since the very beginning of this country, has gotten to rebuild this country from the ground up. We're going to get to do that. That's incredibly important. It's an incredible honor for us to be alive at this time. And all the things that's happening that's causing us to become better discerners, like Plattner, all the things that are happening, we're like, okay, we're learning. Okay. You fooled me. Okay, we're going to stand up for that. So that next year, we're really going to be so much more sharp, and we're going to be able to deal with these things and with these people and really push for the things we want, because hey, if we got to start over, well, we might as well start over, right? We might as well give Native Americans their land back. We might as well give all the black families that you stole their land, we should give their land back too. And guess what? We're going to start treating women better. We can do this. We can do this. We just have to keep our eyes focused on the prize. That's the key. Okay, someone choose not to, but not be. Okay, great. You talked to Mitch for 20 minutes too. Awesome. Hey, Nurse Sandy. Yep. And he's a DNR. He's a do not resuscitate. I like the way you think. Thank God we have nurses like you around. Um, Nuremberg, yep, Nuremberg, the guides have talked about that. E. Jean Carroll's going to get her money. Um, yeah, the laws are a gentleman's agreement. There are no gentlemen left. There's no honor among thieves, so there are no laws. Which Kevin is here? One of the Kevins is here, but I don't know which one. But hello, Kevin. Oh, Kevin Lewis Medium. Hey, hey. I wish I was back in Canada with you. That was an amazing retreat. Oh my God, it was so amazing. And Canada is amazing. And I wish I was still there. And I can't believe it's been a week. It's so interesting. But anyway, great retreat. Super awesome. Um, let's see what else you guys are talking about here. We should talk about the midterms. I still think that the midterms are going to go off. Like, I don't think they're going to cancel them. And I think that there could be some even bigger changes around the midterms. I got to tell you guys, I'm a little worried about Biden. Last week, y'all asked me, and or I don't know when y'all asked me because time has no meaning when I'm channeling, but I thought he was doing fine. But I keep trying to say when Trump goes, and they keep putting Biden. So he could be having some health issues come up. So just keep him also in your prayers. I don't, I, I'm just telling you, I don't know anything, but this just keeps coming up. So it could be that he has maybe he has pneumonia, maybe he has some kind of health issue, but just keep him in your prayers. So, because when I was thinking about the midterms and I was thinking about changes, I was thinking about, see, Biden. I keep saying Biden. I don't want to say Biden. That's not who I'm even wanting to talk about right now. But I think midterms, I think changes, and I want to say Trump, and I want to say dead. I want to say these words so bad, but I keep saying changes Biden. So there could be there. I just feel like his chest. It could be like a pneumonia or something going on with his some kind of thing that he's struggling with. Um, but I still think that the midterms happen. I have told you before, and I'm still getting it, that they're chaotic. I don't know what they mean by that. I just think maybe because the rules have changed, we don't have a federal election committee anymore. So maybe the states are acting crazy and red states are doing things they shouldn't do. So voters are going here and then the polls aren't there, but the polls are over there. It's just kind of wackadoodle and crazy, but I'll tell you that this actually pisses off the electorate. The guides are saying, they're using the word electorate. It pisses people off. This is in early voting. So that it's sort of like the straw that broke the camel's back or something. Like, oh, this is what you're gonna, no, you're not gonna do, never mind. I will call in sick to work. I'll lose a day's pay. People are going to be that kind of radically irritated about it. They're going to take their newborns with them. They're like, I couldn't get a sitter. I'm going to take my 3-day-old baby with me and stand in this line. I'm telling you, people are going to be really radicalized. Like, we have had enough of this. So even though they do all the things they can do to disrupt it, to stop it, it doesn't really work. Now, could we get better outcomes? Yes, but they actually wake up a sleeping giant that they didn't know was going to happen. Um, so yeah, so artist Liz says, will the Dems win Congress and the Senate in November? I think they will, but I have to tell you that we may not be happy with the Dems, because this is why I think that car was there, that woman thought might be in Jeffries, because the placard on the back was a high-level House leader, and it was parked outside McConnell's place in DC. Because I've been saying, right, that these people are going to give the power to the Democrats, because this is what they do. They run everything in the ground, not this bad as of yet, but this is a whole record. They run it in the ground, and then a Democrat wins, and then look at Biden. Then you have to clean it up. You have to get it. You have to deal with everybody. You have to get everybody on the right page. This is their MO. This is what they do. So it makes sense that, oh snap, we this thing is all broke now. We broke it, and instead of us being held accountable, we'll get a Democrat in there, and the Democrat will have to take all the flack. That Democrat is going to take the flack from the Democrats. It's going to take the flack from the independents. It's going to take the flack from the Republicans. It's going to take the flack from the world. This is why I didn't want Kamala to get this now. Like, would she get it back? No. Would she want it? No. This isn't her mess. Why should she have to clean it up? So this is what I think is happening on the down low, y'all. Democrats are going to win. They're going to win all of it. And then they're going to have to clean all of it up. And I'm here to tell you, the majority of them are not capable of doing the hard work. They're not going to tax the billionaires. They're going to make excuses. You don't understand. We have to wait. We have to do it like this. And that same energy I talked about, people being absolutely energized about VOTING, well, they're going to be energized about being mad at the Democrats. So this is why I think the Democrats are going to split. You see it. It's happening right in front of our eyes. So yeah, the Democrats are going to win, but I think they're going to be, the word I want to say is useless, but I think they're going to be, spineless or toothless. That's what I think. So, but it's still better than the Republicans. Okay. It's still better than the Republicans, but it's not what we want. That's why we're going to continue to push for more progressives. And real progressives, not progressives that just say the things we want to hear. We have to understand, just because somebody says all the things we want to hear, those are words. Those are just words. Where's the action? We need to start looking for the action. All right, what else are we talking about? Pitchforks and torches for the Democrats. I like it. I know. I see your satire there, Barbara. The Democrats are going to be wish-washy again? No way. How could it happen? It's going to be hard if you're a Democrat in Congress and you actually have a brain and you want the right thing for the country. It's going to be hard. Going to be hard for all of us, actually. Okay, I'm just going to say something that, yeah, I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't say it. She loves our country. I think she does. I'm a Kamala fan, but I don't think it's her. I don't think she could do it because they've poisoned her name and they'll just come out to attack her. I really think it's going to be, and I'm actually now, like 6 months ago when the guides told me this, I was all kind of mad. Now I'm like, okay, whatever. I think it's going to be a white dude. Fine, let this Manila vanilla, pathetic, literally barely can tie his shoes white dude get some kind of control, and let him be the one to be the punching bag. That's fine. And then we get our real pick the next time. The next time is when we get somebody who's really sharp. Somebody who's going to bring us into that next era, the new era of the United States. But the first leader, I think, is a toss, a throwaway, a rebound. When you have a relationship and you have a rebound relationship, and you're like, well, that didn't work. That's kind of what I see us choosing next. Yeah, we can read on him. Cindy says, can read on Michigan Senate DSA candidate Abdul Al-Said. There's a lot going on there, so I don't know what you want me to read about with him. There is a woman in the periphery that's running too, that is gaining some steam. But if I'm reading on just him, the guides are saying he will go. He not go as in go away. He will do it. He will go. He will surmount the challenge. I mean, that's not written in stone because if I knew everything, I wouldn't be talking to you guys. I'd be living on a chocolate island and I would be, if I had all the knowledge in the world, right? Come on. And also everybody has free will. Like I said, there's this woman who's kind of closing in on him. So, but if I'm reading it right now, he can pull this off. I don't know whether you want that to happen or not, but that's um Roe v. Wade is what you want to know, Josie. When will? Yeah, I've always said so. I actually predicted that Roe would be removed, but at the same time, the guide said they're going to remove Roe, but it will be reinstated. We are going to get these rights back. We are going to get these rights back. We can do this the easy way. We can do this the hard way. We can go to the polls and we can just flood them and, overcome their. See, I don't even think they're going to really try to win because they can't be responsible. If they kept the Congress, if they kept the Congress with as bad as everything is right now, the Republican Party would be over. Just go ahead and put it in the backyard and bury it. So they're going to throw it. They're going to give it to us so that we deal with it. So now, will those Democrats do something? Will they actually get Roe v. Wade? And will we have a total control of the Congress, including a veto-proof control? We may not. We may only have control with like an extra couple of seats, which makes it hard to do anything, which makes it this gridlock kind of thing. But I kind of feel like the Republicans are going to give us at least 5 seats. So I do see Roe being reinstated, whether it's next year or the year after or the year after. Depends on us. It depends really on us. How wild we're about to get wild. We're just at this like boiling point of anger. We can't eat food. Our friends are still being abducted. We don't even know why, where they're going. Air travel has gotten ridiculous. All kinds of travel has gotten ridiculous. Nobody's out there predicting the weather anymore. Just basically people predicting weather out of their bedrooms. I mean, this is all going to come to a head, and we're going to realize just what it means to have a functioning government. And we're going to realize how important that is. And we're going to realize how important that is for it to be privatized. Had to be privatized in the sense that the citizens control it and it's protected from being deleted or being sold off at the highest bidder. All right, what else is happening? What's up with Mitch's new floors? I don't know what you mean by his new floors. I I read about Mitch. I think he's dead. I think things are happening. Things are happening. They're probably, they're doing what Republicans do. They're going to try to make a deal, you know, that benefits them. But I think that might be surprising. I think the deal that benefits them might be that they give some power to the Democrats. Um, Yeah, I agree with you about the split. I feel like the Republicans, I read on this years ago that I thought the Republicans were going to split. And then I remember like 6 months later, I was like, oh, snap, the Democrats are going to split too. If we had multiple parties, it would make it easier because coalitions could form. It wouldn't be so divided. Right now, it's just division. And if we had 4 or 5 parties, it would not be as divided. I think it would be better. Um, and I'm going to be with the socialists. Um, yeah. Somebody wanted to know, maybe we should talk about Nolan briefly. let me talk about Nolan. Nolan is the young man, the black young man that was murdered. Let's just call it what it was. I don't know. You'd have to be under a rock to not hear about this. But again, if you are under a rock, send me the address of said rock so I can join you, because that sounds like a good place to be right now. This young man was with a group of white kids, white boys that he knew very, very well. These were his very good friends, and they were on a boat, and they went boating, and they went to this island, which a lot of people go to. It is a desolate, it's like a sandbar. Let's call it what it is. But there's always boats out there. That's kind of a thing. Well, guess what? He didn't come back. He didn't come back with the white boys. And It's very fishy. And a couple of things that happened was that those those young men that came back, they kept his phone. They have his phone. They kept it. And his Nolan's parents used Find My Phone, which is an iPhone Apple thing where it'll find your device, and Family 360, where you can sign up and track each other. They tracked the phone to this person's house and went to the house and said, "Give me my son's phones back." So they did. I mean, I think they didn't first and they did it on the second attempt, maybe all at the same time, but there were apparently, like, they didn't answer the door, or there was a second attempt. That's bad. Like, why would a person disappear, but you have their phone, but you don't give it to the parents? Can you imagine? You've got boys this kid's same age, and you're just going to be keeping the phone. They also kept his car keys. The dad had to go get the car keys. Okay, so here's what I feel like is happening here. What I feel like is happening energetically is that this young man was he was an athlete. He was a straight, narrow kid, right? Like, he's not a big drinker, drugger. He was an athlete. He didn't want that stuff in his body. And I think, you see pictures, I think these other kids are like, drinking, having a good time. What I feel like happened when I go into his energy is he was roofied. He was given some kind of drug that caused him to be impaired. Now, I there's one kid who's behind this. There's one kid that's behind this. But all the kids are now involved. I don't care if, they're now all accomplices. Okay. What I feel like happened is he was impaired. If you think about the things you've read about being roofied, you can't move. Like, you're like a noodle. Like, you can't move your body. And he went overboard and he drowned. This is what I get. This is energy. I could be wrong. This is what I get. He could have hit his head as well, but my sense of it is that he didn't have he was a good swimmer. He was a swimmer. This shouldn't have been a problem. But because he was impaired, it was a problem. And he drowned. And I think it all happened really quickly. And I think that those kids just decided that they had to run, that they had to cover it up. And we know now, because of Trump, we know that most crimes get actually sentenced on the cover up, not on the actual crime itself. So these kids left this guy there, went back, kept his keys, kept his phone, allegedly scrubbed his Snapchat, because his mom said he was always on Snapchat. That was the way he communicated. When she got his phone, the Snapchat was clear. Let me just tell you, these people are going to go down. The parents are going down. The kids are going down. I'm getting like 8 to 12 people are going to go to prison. They're going to go to prison over this. This is, and it's sad. It's incredibly sad, but it's also sad because this is happening everywhere. Like, now this is in the news. This is in the news. Like, if you are a Black person, don't hang out with white people. Just don't do it. Don't do it. We're not safe. I said this on threads. Like I'm not joking right now. I'm not joking. Like I'm safe, but how do you know, right? So don't do it. Don't hang out with white people right now. I don't we don't deserve. We don't even deserve to be in your company. So I think they're going to go down. They're going to go to prison. This is going to take a while. It's going to get really ugly. And the guides are showing me that it will be super televised. So we will be on our phones watching the court cases. We'll be watching it on YouTube. It's going to be everywhere. And they are going to get sentenced. That's what I feel. That's what I feel happening. And it doesn't bring him back. And it's ridiculous. It's really, really sad. So that's what I get. I don't know if anybody else has read on it or but that's just what I get when I go through that. Prayers for his mom and dad, because my God, I don't know how you go through that. And what else is happening? Right, the mother deleted that. I'm telling you, the parents are going down. Oh, right. I meant to say this too. The guides told me this too. One of the peripheral people is either a judge or an attorney, and they're involved in it. I'm telling you, the whole town is involved in it. And it is mostly this one kid, but because they all tried to cover it up, that's the crime. They're all going to go down with the crime. Oh, and one thing else I will say is that one of the boys may not make it. One of the boys might take themselves out, um, because of the guilt, but also because of their own, like they have no future. Like they know they're gonna rot in prison. Um, but there's also like a little bit of a guilt thing there too. It's horrible. It's really horrible. Um, Yeah, yeah. I think there was some jealousy there. I mean, they were jealous of this young man for every single reason you can imagine. This young man was brilliant. He was an athlete. He was a good guy. I mean, they just didn't like him. They were jealous of him. So yeah, it was pretty bad. But I don't know why he roofied him, other than I feel like this ringleader dude wanted to do drugs on the boat or something, and Mr. Goody Two Shoes, Nolan, he thought Nolan was going to turn them in, even though Nolan was like, "Y'all do you, I don't care. Like I don't, I'm not going to do it." But I think he just thought it would be funny to roofie the guy who never gets high, roofie the guy who doesn't do drugs. You know, yeah. It's a mom that is a judge. Wow, they're going down. They can't cover this up. I'm going to tell you right now, I don't care who you are. This is not going to get covered up. The more you cover it up, the more time you're going to do in jail. That's what, luckily in this time, there will be justice. And it's going to get so much publicity that I think it's going to make other people that would do this think a little bit more before they would do this. Hopefully. Yeah, hopefully. Question about do I see an interim government? I mean, I kind of hinted at this when I said that the Democrats would take power. Um, I still say, this is not 100%, but I still say that if they could make Jeffries president, they would do it. I'm telling y'all right now, they would do it, because he he's perfect for them. He's perfect for them. He'll be apologizer for us. Look, just for the good of the country, we have to do this. We have to get through this. We're rebuilding the country, the best ever. A bunch of words out the man's mouth, but don't mean jack nothing. And then the Democrats are literally holding the bag. We're literally to blame. Think about that. It's brilliant. He's not going to make the Republicans do anything, and yet he's representing us. So I think we could have an interim government. Um, My God, what did JD just came out and said something really egregious yesterday, I think it is. Um, Oh, JD said this yesterday. I think I saw it yesterday. Who knows when it was? He said these people that get 4-year degrees, they have fake jobs. They're just fake jobs. Like a 4-year degree is nothing. Like you need to be a judge or an attorney or a doctor. If you only have a bachelor degree, that's a fake job. This man is not going to make a good president. He also, at the same time, was saying, man, my life is so good. I don't have to drive. I don't have to cook. This is what he's saying. I don't have to do anything. Everything is done for me. This, and meanwhile, we can't eat lettuce, right? We can't eat lettuce. And God only knows what is going to happen, with fires and floods and tornadoes and all, you know what I mean? We don't even have a government. So I do think we could have a coalition government or a some that's why I said I don't know that I want to read on October because I think things are going to happen in August and September that are going to change October and November. Really, really, really big things. He will not be president. Okay. If you write it in all caps, if you write it in all caps and you scream it, that makes it true. You have put in your order with the universe, and I hope they listen to you too. I mean, hey, even if he's Speaker of the House, he's still in power. Even if he's not president, he's Speaker of the House. He's got power. So we'll see, you guys. We'll see what happens. um, the military, there was a timeline not too long ago where the military was a viable option. The guides are saying to help us do this, but now with every week that goes by, they weaken our government, they weaken our military. They, look what they did with the election commission. Give them a week and they'll make us weaker. So now they've made the military quite a bit weaker. And I don't know that we can trust the generals with the caveat the guides are saying that a deal is made. So again, the robber barons are like, yeah, this isn't going to fly. We need the Democrats or a coalition. We just need out. We need an escape route to get out of this before we end up being the bad people, and people stop buying our products and really, really turn against us. And it's end stage capitalism. So if there's a deal that's made, yeah, the military will assist that. But that's how I see it happening. There's no other way other than the robber barons make a deal. And because the only other way is Trump dies and JD is president until 28. That's possible. But, it's the only way to get to a coalition government or a democratic government is to get rid of JD and Trump. And the only way to do that is the robber barons to do it, because this is where we are right now. We're not in a free country. We're just not. Anybody that thinks we are probably should, I don't know. I mean, I am on YouTube, so there is that, but it's kind of like the last vestiges, I think, of our free country. Yeah. Oh, thank you so much. This is a moonstone. I wear this often. I put on my clouds and thunder and lightning earrings. So yeah, that's how I'm feeling. Um, Question from Avocado Toast. Are we all going to get access to GLP-1s? So correct me if I'm wrong, but there's a lot of talk about it, so I'm not sure that it's a good thing. But there's a new part of Medicare, Medicaid, where you can get this for $50 a month. But you got to apply. Your doctor has to fill out some forms. So that has changed recently. So on Medicaid, Medicare, there's a way to get this, but it's only for a year. And then after that, it drops off. So people are like, oh, everybody's going to get used to taking it. And then a year later, they won't be able to afford it again. Um, so that is happening. And then are you going to get to over the counter someday soon? We should be able to. There's nothing stopping us from getting this, the guides are saying, except for the money hungry big pharma. There's a fight. It seems like a power struggle over who gets to have the pills. You know what I mean? Who gets to sell them? Because if only one company gets to sell them, that's gonna everybody will stop taking. Right. Okay. So that's what they said. So they'll make a deal, and the ones you get over the counter will be a lesser dosage, so that the pharmaceuticals selling the shot will have a market. They're never going to poach each other's markets. That's, so it's not about us. It's never about is it good for Susan or is it good for you? It's about their money. So yeah, I do think that could happen, but it would be slightly different, like a lower dose or some different kind of thing, so that it doesn't cancel out the injected one. But once we get into 27 and 28, that gets regulated. That gets really regulated in a good way. Regulated dosages, quality, and price. It all gets regulated. It almost like it's the energy of a generic. You remember when generics came out and all of a sudden it was $20? It's got that energy of there's a generic that's available. But this feels like 27, 28. I am reading the chat off and on. Yep. But there's 4,400 of you. So 4,400 of you. So reading the chat is not the easiest thing, but I do read the chat. Um, let's see what else is happening. Yeah. I do see this. So this is something I've read on before too. Gooby 31. Do you see an alternate People's White House location? I 100% do. He's working on the White House again right now. He wants to replace the columns that are too plain and make them some Corinthian stuff. And I think there's a crane over the White House. I feel like the White House is going to be inoperable is the word they want to say. So it's just not going to be able to be used for all kinds of different reasons. And I feel like we're going to have a new location for the White House. I think it needs to be, what they're showing me is Air Force One, the real one, the real Air Force One. It has all this protection built into it, right? Like you can't Havana syndrome it. You can't shoot it down. This is what I feel like the new White House is going to be. It needs to be much more protected, maybe even better than the Pentagon. They're also saying the Pentagon is going to undergo extreme new protection measures. But I think that the White House is going to be a whole new building we'll have a bunker underground that will be bomb proof. It will have tunnels, escape tunnels, and it's not meant. That's a really good question. The guides were saying it's not meant to be the people's house. It's not meant to be. It's like an office building. Like now you have to have a card to get into an office building. You don't just tour office buildings, right? So I think again we're redoing the Constitution, the people's house. Well, it is the people's house, but we want the people in that house to be safe. So we're not going to make it accessible. Now, maybe potentially the White House survives, meaning it doesn't get torn down or so damaged that it has to be torn down. And then that can be a place of like a historic museum thing. But but I definitely see a new location. And I don't think it's going to be in DC because DC, I mean, they want it to be there because of the Lobbyist Row. There's like a whole street called Lobbyist Row where all the lobbyists are. But I don't, again, they're not going to have that kind of access. It's going to be a different era, it's going to be a different thing. So it could be in a slightly different position or place. A lot of big changes for our country, you guys, a lot of big change, things that you couldn't, could we have even seen what this man is doing 2 years ago? So imagine 2 years from now, the changes that we can have that are good changes, but different changes. Um, I mean, coalition government is potential. It's a potential that I don't, right now, the energy is changing fast, but right now, what their plan is to get somebody in charge that can just bring the temperature down in the country. Like apparently we are in a fever zone where we could like lose our minds. Okay. So they just want to bring one person in because a coalition government would be complicated. We don't know about that. We don't know how to do that. But I feel like in the future, we are going to do it because I said before, right now you get these voting. You, if you try to vote, the the actual thing is written in lawyer words, and it's written so that yes means no and no means yes. You don't even know which way to vote, right? You can't figure it out. So I feel like in the future we're going to go to that kind of parliament thing where we just put our party in and then the party makes the votes. Like we're not going to be voting for every little thing. We're going to put our party in, our party's going to vote the way we think they're going to vote because Americans aren't voting anyway, and it's become complicated. We're going to vote for our party, but we're not going to vote for all those little laws that we have to vote on all the time that we can't understand. That's what I feel like might be in the future. But that's really in the future because we can't, we need calm right now, even if it's a Rice Krispie president, even if it's a rock, you know what I mean? That would be better than somebody always trying to kill you. So that's kind of where we are. I think the general strike, and I've said this in the past, okay? I said this last year. I said it's like we've lost our appetite to buy things. Like, you know, when Biden was president, we were buying things, even though it was expensive, the economy was hot because people were buying it at the expensive prices. So if you're buying it at the expensive prices, the companies are not going to lower the price. Okay. But now what I saw happening is people don't want to buy anything. They want to go to the estate sale. They want to go to the yard sale. They want to go to the flea market. They want to go to the craft place. They want to shop in their neighbors, you know, who's making candles. We just, we're turned off by capitalism. We're turned off by greed. We're turned off by billionaires. This is why I think they're trying to get out of the hot seat because they see it. You know, they can monitor all of us through our social media. They know what we're thinking, what we're feeling. They've got their fingers on the pulse of the entire world. They know what's going to happen before we do because they're plugged into all of it. Okay. So they're like, holy shit, people are going to lose their minds and they're coming for us. So let's give it over to some Democrats or let's give it over to this dummy who doesn't even know what's happening. And then that way, everybody will blame them. But this general strike is happening right now. We're not, yeah, there might be a general strike, but it's even more intense than that. It's literally inside of us. You can't tell somebody to go buy something or not buy something. They're just not going to do it. They're just over it. They're just absolutely sick of it. and we're getting pushed, right? We can't buy lettuce. So guess what? Where's that farmer's market? I've never been before. Let me go find that. We're being pushed. The states are being pushed to take care of their citizens. All the stuff they're doing is pushing us to be bolder and to be more empowered and to take care of ourselves and not feed the billionaires. They're actually creating their own demise, and they're caught on to it, and they're like, oh snap, we better stop doing this. So I do think there's a general strike, but I think it's going to be worse than that. Way worse. Like, for instance, Target. Maybe you're still shopping there, but most of us are not. And then they brought out these guys, these black men, these older black men who said, hey, y'all come back to Target. Everything is good. We were like, no, you can't just tell us what to do anymore. We're so sick of all of this. We don't believe you. We don't trust you. We're not going to go back to them. They have to win us back. And even then, it's going to take a while because we don't have the money to shop anyway. Woke New Human says, when will this end? It only seems to be getting worse. I keep hearing it will get better, but logically can't see it. Well, logically, what I want you to see is the fact that Mondami won. Logically, I want you to see that look, I'm going to say it again, Plattner. I never liked him. I told y'all I didn't like him. I was all over Threads for about last month, raising hell about him. Mainers were like, no, he's better than Mills. He's better than Susan Collins. It's okay that he's a rapist and a Nazi. But he's out. Swalwell, out. Sawyer, the billionaire in California, out. Okay, these are good things. Yeah, there's bad things happening, but these are good things. And honestly, the fact that Nolan's murderers are going to go to prison forever is a good thing. The energy is starting to shift. Yes, it's not better, but part of the process that we're going through right now is recognizing how bad it is. We had to go through the process with Plattner and say, this man is saying all the things we like, and he's a fighter, and he's going to take it. He's going to take it to Congress. He's going to, and then we had to say, oh, snap. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Are these women telling the truth? Do we believe in the victim now? Because this is all in the Democratic Party, who's like, we believe victims, but they were like, we don't believe this victim. This is how the sausage is made. It's not pretty. It's not pretty to find out that people that you really admired are not people that you should admire. But it's growth. It's growing. We're growing. And that's what's important. That's what's getting better. Really and truly. So I know it's hard. I have days where I feel like it's bleak and black as well, but I also have days where I feel like there's, I can see good things happening. I really can. And I'm really happy that there's this energy of this fight, this fight that's happening. The greed is nauseating, and that's why we can't buy things, because it just makes us sick. And then people go to like Goodwill or a thrift store and they find out what jeans were like 20 years ago. And they're like, this is what blue jeans were like. So people are realizing that clothes were made better. It's just, we're having a whole consciousness shift away from billionaires. Not all of us, but a lot of us. A lot of us. A lot of us are. Will 45 explode from explosive diarrhea? I think your question is, will 45 explode from explosive diarrhea? I think that let's just look, shall we? I mean, I already had McConnell breathing on my neck. Anyway, they just said to me he's being kept alive. I'm talking about 45 now. He's being kept alive. They said against his will. Now, I don't think they mean it the way I'm taking it. What I think is they're making him take medications that in his paranoia thinks they're trying to kill him. So they're having to force medications on him or stick him when he's sleeping because he's fighting. He's they're saying he's becoming combative. He's fighting them. Um, he has paranoia. We know he has paranoia because he thinks people are trying to poison him. That's why he eats McDonald's. He thinks that McDonald's is made to the public, so nobody has access to it. Um, but I can't really think that um, I can't I for the life of me I can't figure out if he's going to go. I just can't figure it out. I can't, or they won't tell me, right? They just won't tell me. But he's yeah. Again, they just keep showing me him, Bibi, and Putin. And Putin is having an uprising against him in Russia. Ukraine is making some bigger strides against Russia. I think that's going to be something that cracks pretty soon. Oslo. Is Oslo in Norway? Why would they say Oslo? Was there an Oslo decree? Oslo decree. Um Oslo Accords, a set of landmark peace agreements brokered in Oslo, Norway, signed between Israel and Palestine liberation in the 1990s. Okay, well, they brought that up. So that could mean that there's a peace agreement that's signed in Oslo, or maybe they're just using that to say there's a peace agreement signed somewhere, but Oslo Accord means peace agreement. So sometimes that's where they give me these words. Um, so I think that there could be big changes there. I feel like you guys between now and August, some big things are going to be happening. And I don't think that they're all bad. I think that they're big changes in our leadership. Um, and and but that might feel also destabilizing, okay, because big changes in our leadership. Oh, right, the eclipse. The second, Josie Saturnarian sister says the second eclipse in August will bring leaders down. The first one in February brought down Iran's leader. Yeah, there you go. So that must be what I'm picking up in August, and that just gave me chills. Okay, so that's thank you for. I feel astrology energetically, so it often dovetails with the astrology that's happening, but I feel it as energy. So yeah, that eclipse is going to take somebody down. Who let's ask. Who will that eclipse in August take down? Putin. I think it'll take Putin down. I heard a P name, Putin. There's no other B. Trump, BB, Putin. I think it's going to take Putin down. Or he goes down before and there's like a finale situation around. Now, also, you eclipses happen. The energy is active on either side of the eclipse, so it doesn't have to happen on the day. It can happen months afterwards, weeks or a month before. So there's like a period of time that eclipse energy is active. Okay. What is JD Vance doing in Kentucky? Well, there you go. Who lives in Kentucky, or whose body is being, stored in a corner in the taxidermist in Kentucky is Mitch McConnell. So if JD is in Kentucky, see, this is what I'm saying. This is power. His wife is in China, wherever she's at, making a deal. People are making deals about JD is probably in Kentucky trying to talk to Bashir or talk to the Kentucky state Congress that makes, the deals are being made. But Rand Paul is that the guy that's in Kentucky? Because I get those two, Paul Ryan and Rand Paul, I get them mixed up, but I think it's Rand. Is it Rand Paul who's in Kentucky? They don't like each other, but they will sit down to make this deal. You better believe that it's in their best interest to make this deal together. So I think he's there making a deal. I think he's there trying to preserve, the guys are saying to preserve to preserve law and order. So that's coming from Vance. So Vance he would be saying, I need to preserve the Senate. I need to preserve my power. Rand Paul, okay. You would like Massey to get Mitch's seat. That's interesting. Massey is a Republican, and even though he has said all the things that I love to hear about 45, and he said really just common sense things about this administration. Massey is a diehard libertarian. He's a diehard Republican. He wouldn't be much better than Mitch. I don't think he would be much better than Mitch. Look at his voting record. Just because he's going to vote against Trump doesn't mean he's going to vote for Roe v. Wade, or vote for universal health care, or vote for Social Security, because he doesn't like those things. He actually is. He's very Trumpy in a lot of ways. But maybe that's your person. I don't know. Yeah, Rand Paul is libertarian. Massey might be a libertarian. He's a Republican. He's a dyed in the wool Republican, the guides are saying. Yeah, we can change the subject. What subject are we going to now? Do you see July still tossing out some real fireworks for the remainder of the month? Okay, so this question from Bear's mom. Do you see July still tossing out some fireworks for the remainder of the month? Keep sensing something big is happening. Yeah, let's look at it. It's July 10th right now. So what is going to happen for the rest of the month? I think I read this in the news, but I don't know. I think there's more trouble in the Middle East. I think there's more military action in the Middle East, meaning Iran and the Strait of Hormuz. I just got Egypt. I don't know how Egypt gets involved, but I feel like the Nile, Egypt gets involved in some way. It doesn't have to be militarily. It could be that they're blamed for something, or that they try to broker a deal, or who knows, or they end up being exposed as helping somebody. July, what is going to happen in July? I think maybe the Mitch McConnell thing is going to break in July. I think it might be announced in July. This seems like there's energy around this being public the second or third week of July, because something happens in August, right? Like there's a deadline in August. So there's real energy around this coming out at the end of July. I see Bashir. They're telling me Bashir does a victory lap. I don't know if that means that he's successful in doing what he wants to do, which is appoint somebody. I think even if they had a special election, I don't think that guy is going to win. The guy that they want to run, I don't think the Republican is a shoe-in. I don't think that. And anything else happening in July? Something is happening with AOC. She's just in the news. I don't know why. Tim Walz is in the news. I don't know why. I don't think it's bad, but they're just in the news. It could be something good. Germany is in the news. There's something with an F. Where are the Falcon? Is that how you say it? The Falcon? I don't think I'm saying this right. Falcon Islands. Falk. Is that how you say it? Island. Yeah, I think so. Falkland. Okay, yeah. Okay, Falkland, not Falcon. That's funny as hell. Okay, that is a group of islands that are self-governing British overseas territory. Hmm. Oh, east of Argentina. Something gonna be happening in the Falkland Islands. And the Navy is in the news. Ships, Navy, sailors is in the news, not in a good way. It could be, I think there could be a norovirus outbreak or some kind of digestive outbreak on a Navy ship that basically renders it useless. Like it's a sitting duck, so to speak. I don't think it's attacked, but it's dire straits. It's dire straits. And I there could be other things happening, but that's what I'm getting right off the top of my head. And this is a really good question. I know this is hard. AM V9K says, is everyone bought? I know it's hard. This is why the Democratic Party is going to split because some people are going to say it's okay. APAC money is okay or whatever it is okay. And other people are going to say it's not okay. And I do think it does feel like everybody is bought. I mean, even look, I'm going to say something right now that's really going to probably piss everybody off. But Bernie Sanders is coming out as looking like not a great guy. He, he's when you look at his track record, if you just look up his track record, he has been behind vocally coming out for some real bad people. And you got to wonder, is he just like got bad luck, a bad picker? Is he bought? Is he stupid? What is the problem here? Because everybody that he's been coming out with lately has been really a bad person. And I don't, maybe he's just believing in them, believing their rhetoric and not doing the work, or maybe somebody's setting him up. I don't know. But I'll just tell you guys, I am heartbroken because I know three women that I know really well, and I know, or I thought I knew that they were incredibly liberal, and I would never say that they're racist. I would never in a million years say these people were racist. I would never say it. I would say, no, you're crazy. But I'm starting to believe they are because they're for these white men and they're willing to make excuses for these white men, yet they're super liberal. But you're making excuses for the white men and saying the victim is wrong when every other time when it's a Republican, you're saying, believe the victim, but now that it's a Democrat, you're like that victim should have come out 5 years. My brain, I feel like I have whiplash. Like I can't believe that these people are. So we're going to have to grieve. This is a prediction that I had that a lot of Democrats were going to go by the wayside. We're going to have to grieve this. We're going to have to recognize it, that people we thought were super liberal kind of have a blind spot when it comes to certain things. And that's hard for us. But let's resist saying that just because this bad thing happened, it's all bad. Or just because this thing happened, nothing good is going to happen. It's that's not the case. We have to really look at the good things that are happening, but we also have to understand that we're going to learn about some people that are going to break our hearts, and we just have to understand that. And for me, I'm like, God, why didn't I know this? Why didn't I see this? Where is my blind spot? Where is my privileged blind spot showing? Right. So I know it seems horrible, but it's really all to learn. We're going to learn about Bernie. What is up, Bernie? What are you doing over there? Right. We're going to have to understand that just because you're a D and you've done some good, look at Nancy Pelosi. Nancy Pelosi really did some good things, y'all. She did some milestone changes that benefited so many people. But it turns out she can be a biatch. and she can be a power hungry biatch. So we're having to really use our discernment. We have to really use our discernment. Yes, she did some good things, and then she did some bad things, and then she did some good things, and then she did some bad things. And I think it's okay to say that and not say, I would never say anything bad about her because she did these good things. The good things don't erase the bad things, y'all. The bad things don't erase the good things. We have to be able to hold it. We have to be able to say, I'm I'm going to balance what you did, and so far the good things outweigh the bad things. However, if it gets to a point where your bad things outweigh the good things, you're gone. That's where this is what we're learning. This is this kind of increased awareness and discernment that we're in right now. We're not MAGA. We're not just going to be, cult addled brains. We have to be able to think things through and decide, what's good, what's working, what do we want? And then when that person doesn't work anymore, then we have to work to get rid of them. We have to really work to get rid of them. That's I think a new level of maturity. See, there you go. Somebody's pro Nancy Pelosi. There you go. I'm gonna say I've said it publicly. I came out against Plattner. I came out really hard against Plattner. And again, people I know were like, he's a good guy, Susan. I'm like, you know what I mean? I'm like, am I crazy? Am I this man has a Nazi tattoo right here. And all the soldiers, I go to the source. The soldiers are like, no. When you get in, first of all, the military watches your tattoos. And if you get a Nazi tattoo, you get in trouble. Okay. They don't make you take it off, but you get in trouble. Number two, most tattoo places don't offer them. You have to find somebody to do it. Number three, if you put one on you and it was a mistake, you don't put it on your butt, on your chest, and then walk around shirtless all the time, right? You put it like under here, like people that need to know can know, but not everybody needs to know. No, this man put it like right here, okay? And then it turns out that he's not really an oyster man. His mom owns a restaurant, and his oyster company just sells oysters to his mom. That's not really a company. All these people that came out against him. So anyway, he was pretty cut and dry. Now, Tallarico, I can just tell you that everybody loves Tallarico. That's fine. Look, if you love Tallarico, love Tallarico. If you're going to vote for him, vote for him. I'm just telling you from my perspective as an energy person, something is up. It's not as obvious as Plattner, but look at how people went hard for Plattner, okay? Still, despite the fact that all this was going on. I don't have a good feeling about Tallarico. I don't know why. It I don't know. I'm not going to go into it because look, a lot of people love him, and that's fine. I truly hope, I hope that he is a good guy and that he does the right thing. But something does not add up. Period. End of story. And that's just all I'll say because it's very divided. See again, the Democrats. Do you see what I'm saying? The Democrats are going to divide because we're not seeing eye to eye, and some Democrats want to keep the status quo, and others don't. And there's no harm or foul in that. But we may have to have irreconcilable differences, is what the guides call it. Oh, he's way better than Paxton, for sure. He's way better than Paxton. He really is. But I think that Jasmine would have been a better choice. I mean, again, I don't think this Jasmine had actual experience in Congress. She's a fighter. Um, Talarico has state level experience. He's not a fighter. He's a pastor. Um, there's something weird going on with him besides all that. So, you know, and that's that, and I will say that there is energy around people saying you deserve to get what you vote for. At some point, if this is where I got with Plattner, I stopped talking about it online because I said Maine wants it, Maine can have it. Okay, like, maybe y'all just need to learn that lesson. Okay, maybe you just need to learn that lesson. So at some point, you just have to say, okay, I guess you're just going to do what you're going to do. But please, let's learn from the Fettermans. Let's learn from the Cinemas. Let's learn from the guy from West Virginia. Let's learn from these things. Let's just not keep making the same mistakes and not paying attention to reality, right? John Ossoff is doing great right now. His energy is great. He's doing everything he should be doing as far as like peaking, at the right time. He's everywhere. Whenever I open up any social media, he's there. He's got a really good machine behind him. He's got um, a good group of people behind him. I personally love Keisha Lance Bottoms. Um, she I'm getting chills. I don't know why. The guy that's in Spirit, the very storied black legislator that's in Spirit now, not Al Green, no, another one. Um, I think he's guiding her. Um, anyway, she's good. But black people versus white people. Look at Jasmine Crockett, look at Tallarico. I mean, our people are just going to be voting for white people. That's just how they do. So, unfortunately, John Lewis. Thank you. It's John Lewis. Thank you. Yes, John Lewis. Holy cow. I don't even know how to describe his energy. But anyway, he's I don't even know. I mean, he's bigger than Lincoln. He's bigger than Abraham Lincoln. He's bigger. How just, I just want to do this. Like, oh man. Anyway, John Lewis is helping Keisha Lance Bottoms. He's helping her. I don't know why her, I don't know why him, I don't know what's going on, but definitely. Yeah, he's a giant. He's just he's a powerhouse, and just what a loss, right? But anyway, I think they look good, but they're going to go after Lance Bottoms because that's what they do. She's a woman, she's a black woman. There's two strikes against her. They're going to really go after her, but she's going to she's going to if she can go around, like, there's these blocks they're going to put against her, instead of fighting them, I hope she just goes around them. Like, there's some things she doesn't even need to fight, like whatever, and go around it. Then she'll conserve her energy and her money, because they're trying to wear her out. They're trying to get her to fight against this stuff, spend the money, and it's wasting her money. That's what they're trying to do. Also, Obama, um, Barack Obama is way on the down low, but he is helping people, um, way on the down low. Oh, he's from Atlanta and he trained also. Oh, well, there you go. I keep getting chills. Wow. Okay. That's good. I know, Denise, and I respect you, and I know that you're deep, deep, deep into Texas politics, but I'm just going to have to psychically, respectfully disagree that I think she could have won. I think she did. I think she would have won. Absolutely, she would have won. But that's just me. We can respectfully disagree. That's the whole argument about Tallarico. That's the whole argument about Plattner. We can't have Janet Mills and we can't have Susan Collins, so we have to vote for Plattner. We just have to. Well, we don't. Is Susan Collins better than a Nazi Democrat? Are we saying that a Nazi Democrat is better than a Republican? I mean, we just have to figure this stuff out, I think. But I think she could have won and she would have won. But guess what? Texas has to learn its lesson. And Maine, we all have to learn our lessons. That's just it. We don't know until we experience it and we go, oh, now we get it. Now, look at what we've learned with the e-files. We didn't know anything about these e-files when Obama was president. We didn't know. Now we know so much about them. And we know so much about how our Constitution is Swiss cheese, right? That there's so many loopholes. It's painful. But you know what? I'd rather know. I'd rather experience the pain and understand that these are things we need to fix. And we need to be more discerning. And we need to get money out of politics. And Paxton should already be in prison. Paxton has 5 federal indictments against him. He should be in prison. We shouldn't even be having this conversation, right? So these are things these are lessons, these are challenges that we're having to learn, and they're painful. They're painful. Nobody wants to be in pain. Nobody wants to be sad. Nobody wants to lose their country or find out that their country was not what they thought it was. Nobody wants that. But to make it a better country, we have to figure out what's broken, right? We can't just put a rug over it. We're not going to put a rug over it anymore. We're not going to do that anymore. We're not. And that might mean that we throw out some good people. I've said this all along. We have decision fatigue. We're exhausted. We don't, you know what? If you're not making us happy, we're just going to get rid of you. We're just going to get to that point because we just can't sort it out anymore, right? I can't sort it out anymore. Tired. I'm tired of being gaslit, tired of being lied to. I don't know now who's who and what's what. So unless you're like literally completely clean, maybe we're going to throw you out. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But this is good. This is good because Swalwell, people still are saying, well, he wasn't that bad, but he took himself out. That means for somebody of his stature and so close to winning to literally disappear means there was a lot more coming that he didn't want to come. And he knew it was coming. So he said, peace out, everybody. Right? Yeah. No, Obama is helping Jasmine. Obama is helping everybody, but I'm telling you, it's literally on the down low. Like really, like he never doesn't want anybody to find out that he's doing this for whatever reason. I don't know. It doesn't matter. That's his prerogative. But I think as he gets a little older, let's say 3 years from now, he's going to become more vocal and more public about it. And he's going to be way more vocal, way more public about his thoughts on people. Yeah, he's going to take center stage and start really standing up and out. But right now, I think his name actually causes people problems, right? Because then the Republicans double down on that person because they can use Obama, that name, to rile up all of the, zombie red people. So, yeah. So, but he will step out into the limelight or into the, spotlight. And just remember, just remember that he just did that whole presidential library where even GW came. Um, that shifted the energy. It really shifted the energy. I mean, it shifted the energy worldwide because all the presidents were there except for the felon. So um, there, it means things are changing. Things are really changing, and it's okay if we get a lame duck Democrat in the Senate or in the Speaker of the House. It's okay because we all need to catch our breath anyway. We're not ready to rebuild right now anyway. Somebody like Kamala Harris or whoever you want to be president, even if it's Pete Buttigieg, they wouldn't have the ability to make the changes we need to change, right? So we're going to wait for our A team. We're going to bring our A team out in 28, maybe in 32, and then you're going to see Social Security get back on track, Roe v. Wade get back on track. You're going to see a new version of the United States. But we can't get there right now. We can't get there by November of this year. We can't maybe get there by 28. But what we can do is stabilize the country. Stop this ICE craziness. Stop all these attacks on Iran. Stop effing with Israel. Stop effing with Mexico and Canada. Just basically create a moratorium on craziness. We're not gonna rebuild and make this the most beautiful country. But at first we have to stabilize the patient. That's what the guides keep saying, right? So that's what we're gonna do. And Cash is called to the White House tonight. I've gotten that Cash would be one of the first ones to go. He feels like the guy that's holding the bag, during the robbery and everybody leaves and he's standing there with the bag. He feels like that guy. I mean, I know 6 years sounds, listen to my words. We're going to stop a lot of the bad stuff that's happening. And then we have to take inventory. We can't fix it if we don't know what we're fixing. We don't even know what departments are actually working. We don't know. We don't know what effect did getting rid of the Department of Education or the FDA or whatever, what effect did that have on the things they controlled? We're going to want to look at it. We're going to want to have, I'm going to want to have a say in it. I think the citizens should be having talks and roundtables. That's what we need to do first. We have to figure out what happened. What do we still have left? What do we need to fix? What do we need to put into an emergency? From there, and that's going to look, and sometimes they're going to tell us stuff that's going to make us mad, like for the good of the country, we can't raise taxes on billionaires. Okay, it's going to piss us off. And then guess what? In 28, we're going to have somebody that looks like Mom Donnie as president. That's where we're going. They can't stop us. It's just whether we get there in 28 or 32. But that's where we're going. We're not going to hell. We are in hell. We're currently in hell. We're here. We can't really go too much worse. Really, it's up from here. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. Yes, thank you. I know I'm over the 2-hour mark and I am going to sign off. Thank you so much. You guys have a good weekend. Look, I'm going to tell you the whole sort of message. The message is that despite the hell we're in, we're not only going to survive, but we're going to thrive. That's the message. If you want to give the middle finger to these people, then how we do it is we come out of this better than we came into it. Supporting our farmers, supporting our workers, supporting other races so they're safe, right? Supporting each other so that they can try as they want, but they can't remove our spirit, our resilience, So we're in a new era now where it's like, okay, we're at rock bottom. So now from here, it's all up. And we don't need you. We don't need you, Mrs. Mr. Government. We don't need you. We're going to take care of ourselves. We're going to take care of each other. We're going to get through this together. So that's kind of the lesson here. The lesson is we're going to thrive despite these MFers, despite you. Yeah, because guess what? Nolan's murderers are going to prison. Epstein, I mean, even if he is alive, he's not operating Zorro. They shut it down. There are good things that have happened. We have to focus more on the good things so that we can get through the bad things. Okay. Okay, everybody. If you're interested in what I do, this is what I do on my membership. This is what I do with my members. You can scan that QR code, check it out, SusanLynnMedium.com. You can look at my other YouTube channel, which is Susan Lynn Spiritual Way Shower. If you want to know about what your pets are doing in heaven, that's what I just talked about this past Wednesday. I talked about what do rotten souls, why do rotten souls incarnate here and what is their purpose? I have a video on that. So the other channel, Susan Lynn Spiritual Way Shower, can actually start explaining this stuff to you so you can kind of understand it and grow and expand your soul so that you're not depressed and mad and angry all the time. So you can kind of go, okay, these people are just doing stupid things. I'm going to go over here and make my life better, as better as we can do it. Right. That's all I can say about it. Thank you guys. Thank moderators. Thank you so much. Everybody take really good care. Do something nice for yourself this weekend. And I feel like we're going to have something to celebrate before too long. Well, I mean, hell, I'm going to celebrate Mitch, frankly, as soon as I get him out of my house. Y'all take really good care. I'll see you next time. All right. Have a good night.